What's up, guys? Welcome to BitCast episode 38 for the week of September 10th, 2017. I'm your host, Jake Martin. In the studio this week, we have Joshua Zermino! Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. I'm a little winded right now.
That was a really long note.
Yeah, I actually could have held it longer, but I stopped for the listeners. You're welcome. Yeah. What's up, man?
Not much.
It's been
I'm glad to be back. I haven't been on a podcast in a while.
It's been a minute. Yeah, I think it's just because I don't value your input as much.
Most people don't.
As the other people's. No, man. You've been busy. Making coke.
Yep, working that third shift.
I'm
always tired.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think like when we finished Resident Evil, we just really stopped hanging out, which is a real shame.
We had a lot of moments during that game that we needed some space.
Yeah, it was probably for the best. But in retrospect now, how glad are you that we are done with that?
I'm very glad, and I cannot wait because it's already September, and you know what next month is?
Spooky month.
It's October.
It's spooky.
Time for scary games and scary movies. Jake's favorite.
I feel like so. Let's let the people know what we're talking about today,
That's
and
fine.
then we can kind of jump into that conversation. Just making sure I'm recording. Oh yeah, we're doing good. Okay, so today, if you're tuning in, we are going to be talking about Nintendo and their foray into VR. Pokemon CEO not really agreeing with the Switch at first, and now having to eat his words. Target naming their top toys of the year, and one of them has to be Nintendo related also. We had this news, this is hot off the press. The SNES and NES are getting restocks in 2018, which is very good news for everyone, as well as SNES is going to get restocked again this month. So if you missed one the first time, you're in luck. After this, we have South Park, and just there's a clever game design element that I think is really funny, but also I think appropriate and actually needed. PewDiePie messed up this week, and us being in the sort of video game realm and having 800 people that listen to us, I think there's something relevant to talk about there. Destiny 2 is already doing really great. The iPhone Keynote / Apple Keynote was today, so we're going to just talk about that briefly. And the main topic of the show today is It. So as soon as we kind of get to that main topic, if you haven't watched the movie yet, the new one, 2017, I would recommend that maybe you probably watch the movie first and come back and listen to the second half of this, or if you've already seen it, you're in luck. It's going to be a great show. So a few housekeeping notes first. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Interact with us there. I'll post up stuff saying, hey, we're about to go and record this new episode if you want to have us ask questions. And please, I'm going to say it every single week until I get one. Send any topic suggestions or anything you want us to talk about on the show to bitcast@bitbloggist.com. I just want to see one email come into that little box, and if it's a person that I know, I don't want it. I want it from somebody random. So any listeners out there that I don't really know, send me an email. I just want to put it on here. But we had one actually last week that I will use for one of our topics.
Was it random?
It was sort of random. It was on Facebook, so it was Yeah. Review of the week is from Taylor Thurmond. She said the topic line was "It's Geech." And it said, the only podcast I listen to because it's the best one. So, shout out, Taylor. Thank you very much for that review.
She said it's what?
It's Geech.
Geech.
As in, good, but it's I don't know.
Like Gucci?
Yeah, Gucci.
Without the I?
But just 2 E's instead.
Oh.
Geech. you gotta say it like that. Geech. So Taylor, thank you very much. I'll be sure to tag you in this when we with the time stamp on that, so you know when we shouted you out. That's it. That's it for housekeeping. So Josh, what are you playing right now? What if you are playing anything?
I've been playing. I use the free game. What is it called? Just Cause 3. Is it Just Cause
Just
or
Cause.
Just Cause?
Just Cause.
Is it a Just Cause or is it Just Because? Which one is it? I don't know.
It's Just Cause.
I've been playing that because it's free.
Just because it's free.
Yep, that's mainly why. And that's all I have time for at the moment.
What do you think? Fun? Kind of dumb fun?
It's very dumb fun. There's not a lot to that game.
Just putting rocket boosters on cows and shooting them around.
I mean, you just fly around and just shoot stuff.
It looks like Far Cry, just a lot more zany, I guess.
Yeah, and not as good.
Okay,
but
yeah.
it's fun. It's free. It's fun.
It's free. Just cause.
Yeah.
Just Cause 3. Just cause.
That's all I'm playing right now.
Dude, we should.
I'm about done with it.
We should let them know for Just Cause 4 if they do want to release one, they should just use that as like their tagline. Just Cause 4. Just cause.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what they did for this one.
Make millions. You're welcome. Drink of the show today is a nice plastic cup of H2O directly from my Brita filter.
Ooh,
and Josh, show the camera what you're drinking on. We're a paid promotion here.
This is a pumpkin spice beer.
Yep.
Or
pumpkin head. I don't know what you would call that. Pumpkin ale, maybe.
It's pumpkin ale. I just like the whole pumpkin spice craze.
It's good, and we're in September now, so it's appropriate. I actually had a pumpkin spice latte the other day. I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
Didn't have as much pumpkin flavor as I was hoping for, but I had a dirty chai latte today, and that was good.
That does sound good.
And I like saying that word too. Dirty chai.
Chai.
Give me that dirty chai latte, sir. Quick. So other than that, man, I guess we can kind of jump into the news, but there was something we just recently talked about for just a second. The dogs also want to get in on the conversation.
Bark, bark, bark,
so,
bark, bark.
Did you close the door? Hey, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. And we're back. Your mic's on too? Okay, good.
Yes.
Dogs are okay, in case you were wondering. I think they just got a little scared because, like we were saying, it is September and things are getting a little spooky around here. Oh, that's what it was going to be, actually. You were going to talk about how it's spooky month. And because the main topic of the show is it, I can say this right now. I've already got my one scary thing out of the way.
No, you have not.
For everyone listening out there, I hate scary things, and I don't want to do any more of those. Because I asked everyone in the group text who had trouble sleeping that night, and no one else really admitted that they did. So I think I just am a big baby.
Yeah, that's very true.
I kept waking up, trying to not have nightmares about it.
Did you have nightmares?
I don't know. And I kept thinking that it was going to be in my bathroom peeking around the corner.
What would it be for you?
What
is your greatest fear?
A clown in that specific instance. I don't know my greatest fears, dude. It was just really scary, and I actually enjoyed it, but we'll talk about that later. So, let's jump into the news of the week. After the sip of water.
Is that tasty?
It's really gross. It was actually very good, though. So, Nintendo, this is actually a question that was asked by Jefferson Douglas last week. And so he said, any news on the virtual console for the Switch? So Jefferson, thank you very much for asking a question like a actual podcast listener. Nobody else out there. Jeez Louise.
Come on, guys.
Golly. So actually, I think the exact day you asked this, there was a news article that broke where Reggie Fils-Aimé, the Nintendo of America president, basically had his thoughts on this and said, and this is from GameSpot. Speaking recently at Variety's Entertainment and Technology Summit, Fils-Aimé said the problem with VR is that there aren't a lot of experiences that are truly fun. Fils-Aimé said Nintendo has no plans to return to virtual reality right now. However, the executive added that nothing is off the table forever. I read that perfectly.
You did.
Thank you.
You read it better than our intro earlier.
I should do voice work.
You should.
What do you think?
Wait, so they said they have no plans to return to VR?
They have no plans right now because they haven't been convinced by the aspect of VR. Like, the experience that they've created so far, everyone's like, yeah, they're okay.
There's nothing that great.
Nothing like everyone's like, you have to try this game. Like, I haven't had one game that's been like that so far.
Yeah.
And, in execution, it'd be kind of weird. I don't know if they would actually use the Switch tablet, kind of like how the smartphones are, where you drop it into a headset piece. Because I know they filed a patent, a year ago for something like this where it would slide into a headset and you could maybe do VR stuff, but according to this now, it doesn't look like they're probably just doubling down on Super Nintendo Classic, NES Classic, and the Switch, and just driving it home.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably never going to be successful in Nintendo because I don't like them. But, I mean, what games would they have would have VR potential right now?
I don't even know. I mean,
what would they make? Because Nintendo, the thing about Nintendo for me is they don't have a lot of new games that come out that aren't like Pokemon, Zelda,
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it would have to be something creative. Like I could really see a VR Pokemon experience. Like that'd
That would
be
be
really cool.
I'd do that.
In the essence or like vein maybe of Pokemon Snap, where you're kind of moving through this place and you get to throw Pokeballs at things and try to catch them. That'd be pretty gangster. But as far as everything else, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't thought too much into that. So yeah, I'm not too worried about VR at this time. It'd be cool if it was something they tried again, but just them succeeding at this point right now is really all I'm focused about, and I don't want them to, or all I care about. I don't want them to try and divert their focus into something else that's probably not going to be as good as PSVR or other options out there. So
I was looking at some VR stuff on PS4, and they're coming out with you said something about a Star Wars. What did you say?
this one looks like it's for phones, but it looks kind of cool actually. You basically I don't know if it's actually for phones now. No, it is, because it comes with a lightsaber. You basically get a fake lightsaber. It's like about this high, no blade on top, but it's actually augmented reality. But like a Jedi will show up in your room, and then you can kind of like fight them. And they also have like holo chess. I think I saw like the game, the chess game in Star Wars. So that's kind of cool.
And then I was reading one about.
Phone, I think
I was reading one about on PS4. It is. I guess maybe Space Battle. You're an X-wing.
Yeah.
And you can.
It's
do
like
the battle first person.
It's like an experience again. It's not a full-fledged game.
Yeah.
Like basically you go through a battle and you can kind of pilot the ship and do some stuff, but it's not it's not like a mission-based game.
Oh, really?
But that'd be cool.
Lame.
But maybe eventually,
Maybe.
if it's successful. So,
I really hope the VR kind of takes off, because it's really cool, but
it's so slow right now.
people just aren't getting into it, and
Yeah.
the equipment is. So, I mean, how much is it for the headset on PS4?
They actually recently dropped the price to, I believe, 300, 400. No, I think it's pretty sure it's 300 for the PSVR unit, maybe 350.
I mean, that's just as much as a console.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about it, which I get, but
the HTC Vive, which was one of the more expensive units, just dropped $200 to like 700 from 900. So
dang.
I think they're trying to get people in and just like say, you got to try it to see if you like it or not. But unfortunately, again, I don't think there's been any game out there that's like, holy crap,
yeah,
this game has revolutionized video games.
And most of the experiences I see with VR are a lot of like startup or techie offices will buy an HTC Vive.
Here's what you can do.
And they'll do it more like a party kind of thing. Like,
it's
fun to do in a group of people, but people don't just like buy it on their own that much.
And you can't play, like, I don't think anybody wants to sit down and play VR for that long right now, because the technology's not quite there yet for you not to feel like crap after you get out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like strapping a TV to your face and just.
I've always wanted to do the roller coaster ones where you see people like freaking out if you push them.
It feels so bad. Because your body like feels like it should be moving because your brain sees the images, but it's not. So like there's like weird disconnect happening. And that's usually why people get sick, because your brain uses two different like I guess muscles or action commands to your body.
It's like when you're reading in the car and you get motion sickness.
Ugh. So Nintendo Switch VR, definitely not ruled out, but it looks like they're going to be not really focusing on it right now because they haven't seen a lot of promise. So hopefully that answered your question, Jefferson. The next thing, kind of still talking about Switch specifically, the Pokemon CEO recently came out and said that he didn't think the Switch was going to succeed. And I think, a lot of people were probably in this boat, probably you and other Nintendo haters.
I don't have a good reason. I'm not a huge Nintendo fan. I was just being a jerk.
But this is actually pretty cool because I'll read the quote here. I believe this is also from GameSpot. He said, "I told Nintendo that Switch wouldn't be a success before it went on sale because I thought that, in the age of the smartphone, no one would carry around a game console," he said through a translator. "It's obvious I was wrong. I came to realize the key to a successful game is quite simple. Software with absolute quality leads sales of hardware. Playing style can be flexible if the software is attractive enough."
I agree with that completely.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I mean, phone games are fun, but they really aren't that great, especially with all the microtransactions. And I know big games have that nowadays, but I mean, there's nothing can compare.
Yeah, to phones.
Yeah.
And all of the junk that's just tossed on there.
Yeah, those games are not that great. I know a lot of work goes into them. A lot of hard work.
If you are a phone game maker, we are.
No offense.
Yeah. Don't take offense to that because we don't know anything about phone games actually.
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
But yeah, this is interesting because this is a console by all means that probably doesn't make sense in today's world. But I think it's doing so much better because there are attractive titles
Yeah.
that have come out for it. It's like, oh, cool, there's Mario Kart. Okay, there's Splatoon 2. Oh, there's ARMS. Oh, there's Zelda, probably one of the best games that's come out in a long time. I mean, so people see that. And then we have Mario Odyssey coming out this October.
Is that the one with the real life?
Yeah,
part of it.
With like the real life people. Yeah, that game's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
Looks very interesting. I want to play it.
But there's just so many good games out for it, and this month to month release is really working for a lot of people, where they're continually buying games for it, and they're like, oh, like this big Nintendo game's coming out this month, I might as well just pick it up. And then someone comes over, they see their friend has Zelda, Mario Kart, all these good games, and they're like, oh, actually, I would like to pick that up. And like it's easily just, I don't know. I'm just glad that it's a success, and Nintendo needs to keep rolling with it. 'Cause,
I'll say that I'm really glad for you.
It feels good to be in a place where Nintendo is actually doing well. And speaking of doing well, Target has named the Switch as the top holiday toy for 2017. How do you feel about that, Josh?
Toy, I mean, toys, gaming consoles aren't toys to me,
Yeah, I guess you're right. Dang it.
But that's good for Switch, I guess. I mean,
Target's a big deal, man. But what's funny is on the website they actually didn't list the hyperlink to where they could buy it because they aren't available. They're still impossible to find, which is crazy to me because I've had mine since launch day. But I guess I just got ahead of the crowd or something like that. But
why does that happen? Did that happen with PlayStation or Xbox?
Yeah. I mean, every console launch is limited usually, just because they're still.
But I mean, at this point, still.
I mean, it's only been 6 months. And we'll talk about this in a second, actually. But they're limiting themselves because they're trying to focus on 4 different areas. 3DS, these mini consoles. I guess 3 different areas, and then the Switch. So
yeah,
they're only producing this. Whereas Sony and Microsoft have huge resources to be able to like say, oh, let's produce like 20,000 more of these by next week.
Yeah,
they can do
and
that.
And the mini consoles have the games built in, don't they?
Mm.
How many games are built in? Or do you download
The
them?
NES has 30, and the Super Nintendo has 21 or 22. I can't remember. I think it's 21.
And how do you get more? Can you get more games?
No.
You just get
They
those?
just come preloaded, and that's it.
Cool.
But like the actual like price ratio, I think I had this on one of the podcasts. But basically, you're if you wanted to actually get all of these games on a standard SNES, it was like thousands of dollars. And then if you wanted to actually just get them on the console itself, like the virtual console, it's like still like $180 or $190 virtual console stuff. So the fact that you're paying like $90 or $80 for 21 games that are all really good is,
I mean, yeah, it's
a good deal.
the same game, and you're not going to deal with any software issues or hardware issues. Because
I
have a SNES, and it
kind of sucks.
It is a piece of crap, but it works. But man, those games will crash. I have like 2 games on it, and they will crash.
It is a piece of crap. Yeah, it sucks when games freeze. Like even my N64 does that sometimes. Like I'll just be playing a game and it just freezes.
Yeah,
we were playing Mario Party one time. That happened, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Multiple times.
Real bummer. Mario Party 2 does not do that though, so that'll be one we can check out. And then last for Nintendo news, I apologize for having so many on them. Restocks got announced just this week for the NES and SNES Classic. Again, I think this is Fizeme again, or no, this is Nintendo of Europe rep, but I apologize, it's going to apply to all this stuff in America as well. We're happy to confirm that we'll continue to ship stock of the Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System to Europe in 2018. In addition, next summer, we'll also bring the Nintendo Classic Mini Nintendo Entertainment System back to Europe. More information will be shared in the future. So
that's a very long name.
Yeah, I just called it NES Classic or SNES Classic. However, this is great news. Nintendo is listening. I have been complaining about this for months, basically saying, like, why would they stop production of something that so many people have yet to get because they couldn't get their hands on one? And then they're like, oh, okay, well, and I think really the main reason, and that's what you were asking about this, they have to focus their production resources where they want to try and make more sales of one thing. So Switch obviously has been taking up a lot of that focus because it's their big console, and it's way more, it's a higher price point than both these mini consoles. However, they still know demand is super high for these, especially for the SNES right now. And so they're like, you know what, let's just go ahead and just keep shipping these out next year, and eventually that'll beat the scalpers that are trying to sell these consoles for $300, $400 on eBay. So so happy of like just like they actually listen to their fans. And hopefully if you didn't get your hands on one, this is your shot right here. So
Are you gonna get one?
I already have a SNES pre-ordered.
Oh, pre-ordered. Okay.
Yeah. So this end of this month is when I get it.
Nice.
Very excited.
Nice.
1 second.
Yeah. One second.
All right. Now moving away from Nintendo. This I thought was really cool. And
So I don't know anything about this.
kind of sensitive. So South Park and the Fractured Butthole, the new RPG by them, which I'm really excited to play because I never got to play the original one. There's a cool element in here when you're trying to create your character.
Sorry, the fractured butthole is
The fractured butt hole, like HWHOLE. So it's like not butthole, but that's what it is.
Wait, spell it again. HOWLE.
Yeah, like hole, like a whole world instead of like hole in the wall or floor. It says the game's character creator will have an effect on gameplay, altering how NPCs respond and affecting how much money characters will make. And this is all based on. I guess I should have included that in the quote. When you pick the difficulty, it changes your skin color. so if you're picking a white person, the game's really easy. Yeah, and then as you get darker and darker skin complexion, the game gets way harder. And the hardest difficulty is you're a black person.
That is realistic.
And I think that's it's realistic.
And very sensitive, but
sensitive, especially right now in a time like this. But also like really like. I think like appropriate, and I think like actually like this is a great way.
It's very South Park.
South Park, yeah. But I think it's a great way to also like at least make people aware of it that aren't maybe aware of it. Like people that are playing video games that tend to be a bit more closed-minded. Like they'll be like, "Why is it harder to play as a black person?" And it's like, "Oh wait, that makes sense now. I see." Okay, yeah. But I love that. I think that's like a really creative way just to do something like that. Just cracks me up. So. I don't know what you thought about that. I just thought that was really
That's
cool.
really funny. I have not heard about that. When does that come out?
I thought I wrote that down. I think it's October 17th is the release date.
Just in time for
that.
Halloween.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's when it comes out. So pretty excited about that. And then this next part, unfortunately, like, this is very relevant. Like,
what an idiot.
We
What did he do last time? He made fun of Jewish people?
Yes.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
PewDiePie has been in the news again because he was recently streaming PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And he, in a moment of frustration, dropped the N-word just because he got killed or something like that. I forget exactly the situation.
It was live stream?
Mm-hmm. He was live streaming. And so... there's this huge whole backlash thing, and we actually had a game developer come out and say, like, I'm tired of this. Like, this guy has made tons of money off of like playing our games, and I think it was the Firewatch developer, and he was like, I'm just tired of like babies like this that can get on here and say these kinds of things and make money, when they're clearly like ignorant and like very like just uninformed on like certain things. And so he recently, I think it came out today and like, said an apology, but unfortunately, like this is something that, is just, I remember growing up in playing online, like Xbox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like a super, super, super toxic, just place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why I don't play online games.
People are so mean.
That much anymore. But even still, like the kind of things that people would say then, and I'm sure still happen now, like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time online. If you're behind a username that isn't necessarily related to you, like no one knows what your username is, you can say whatever you want. Not getting any backlash for it.
And that's the like, so that's where the everyone tries to kind of like, well, it's common in video games, but unfortunately PewDiePie also has a fan base of over 57 million people that watch his content and subscribe to him. So he has a bit more of a public facing, I guess, just account than most people that are just playing on Xbox Live or online. So I would encourage, if you are playing a game online, which I don't do as much anymore, but if you are and you see that kind of stuff going on, obviously I think the best thing to do is just at least try to avoid that type of conversation at all costs, because it's just it's just bad. It's just bad. It's like it's even worse that people aren't aware that they're doing it. And in this case, PewDiePie was very like, he wasn't even thinking when he said the word, but it's just like, dude, but like, why was that even a word that?
Yeah. Don't be a PewDiePie.
Don't be a PewDiePie. But he's apologized, and people are pissed at him. So we'll see how this all rolls out.
We'll see what he says next time.
But apparently, this is unfortunate because it also affected a lot of YouTube advertising. This happened in the past with the Jewish thing. But advertisers started looking at this stuff on YouTube and they're like, you know what? I don't like my content being like my product being associated with this kind of talk, or like this kind of personality. And so YouTubers who generally are very like good people or don't have that kind of offensive content on their content still saw on their channel saw all their content or their advertising revenue drop like significantly. So it sucks because like it's not only affecting just his numbers, it's affecting everyone on YouTube where it's like, okay, now we have to re-examine again like what everyone is saying and doing, and it's just really bad.
And you can almost kind of imagine the things he said when he wasn't live streaming, because a lot of his older videos, all of his older videos are like pre-recorded and edited.
Oh yeah.
And he cusses all the time, which I don't, who cares? But he could have edited out a ton of things that were.
But I mean, like even on this podcast, like I'm fine with cursing, but it's just you got to think about who's listening a lot of the times, and kids like are his main audience, I think, and so it's just like what kind of example are you wanting to set for these kids? In an already toxic place, it's like you could be an actual good influence, or you could not be. And he's gotten there by not being a good influence. He's gotten there by being himself, being like stupid and just goofy. But at this point now, because he is so popular, it's kind of hey, you got to be careful about what you do. Because Disney dropped him. Disney was sponsored with him, and they dropped him because of that. So it's like, well, there's consequences. So that's all I got to say about that. Destiny 2, Cameron just texted me and said that he bought this game. Hit 1.2 million concurrent users, PS4 and Xbox One as of September 10th. So this game literally released, I think, like 6 days ago. I don't know, last week sometime. And it already has 1.2 million concurrent users, meaning there's 1.2 active people on at one time.
That's crazy.
Which is insane. Again, that's not like crazy, but just in terms of how long the game's been out so far. So good for those guys. Excited for them, but I don't care much about it.
Me either.
And last, this happened today, the iPhone keynote / Apple Keynote. Sorry, I keep calling it iPhone Keynote. And I apologize to anyone that listened last week where Cameron and I talked about the sort of AR thing. It's actually the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, and the big kahuna is the iPhone X 10, or as they're calling it.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just wait until iPhone 8, iPhone 9, iPhone X. Makes more sense,
It's the 10th anniversary of the iPhone.
Stupid.
That's why. Dumb.
That's only been out 10 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
2007.
Man.
The original iPhone. Man, I remember wanting it so bad when it came out.
Yeah. I didn't get one until like 2012, maybe? 11, 12?
Yeah. I got mine. I had mine in high school. I got the iPhone 4. Key takeaways, because there's a lot, but I'm just going to cover some of the more important stuff. So, keynote was obviously today on the 12th of September. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, no real big changes, honestly, to the way that they operate. It still has the home button, wireless charging, better camera, faster processor, that kind of stuff. The big change is really, I think, the big change to this phone was the wireless charging. I'm sure there's people screaming at me like, "Oh, you forgot about this." I will admit that I only had time to glance briefly.
How does the wireless charging work?
So it's kind of like the Android. You just drop it on like a thing and it just starts charging it.
Cool.
But they still have the Lightning port, so you have to like plug your headphones into that if you have a standard 3.5 millimeter.
Stupid.
Really the iPhone 8, it looks like a good phone, but it looks kind of like just a beefed up iPhone 7.
Yeah.
The big one that everyone's kind of excited about, though, is the iPhone X. This is one that has the face scan technology, where basically you look at it, it recognizes your face, and you swipe up and you can log in, or you can get in the phone.
Yeah.
This is cool because I didn't even think about this, but the security risk of like, okay, what if someone holds up a picture of your face? Can they get into your phone?
Interesting.
And I was like, I never thought about that. But they've done a lot to make sure that wasn't possible. It sounds like. Obviously, we'll see when everyone gets it in their hands.
That'll be the first thing I try, probably. Print a picture of my face.
Does it work? But
didn't they get rid of the fingerprint?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just face.
Just face. And the way that they, I guess, have security is that there's also infrared scanning, so it can like detect heat and kind of see where your face is and like realize that it's a real face instead of like a picture of a face. That's how it works, probably. And it also can like adapt with like you wearing glasses or growing facial hair, shaving your face, stuff like that. So it looks pretty intuitive.
I think some Windows tablets have that technology and it works really well, supposedly.
Yeah, they
Like
probably
even if you like, because I mean Apple Pay you use your fingerprint, but
Yeah.
so if you're in a store and you hold it up, you can just it just like looks at your face, but it'll be at a weird angle because it's down. But I think it supposedly will probably work. But
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. They showed Apple Pay with the face scan technology. So basically, you scan your face and it gives you the OK, and then you just drop it onto the Apple Pay. And it works.
Cool.
That's kind of how it works. The other big thing was just the screen. It goes all the way out to the edges, so I don't have my phone. But basically,
Kind of like
a lot of Androids are doing that right
Yeah.
now. But basically, the bottom part of the entire phone has screen as well now. There's no home button, and the top part only has just like a little sliver of a black bar right
there's
here.
no home button.
No home button at all.
So how exactly do you turn it on, with the side button or with just by
Yeah,
looking?
so there's a little home button right here, but if you pick it up and look at it, it actually recognizes that you're looking at it, and so then it turns on automatically without you touching the phone. You just go like this, and it turns
What
on.
if I want to just look at my black screen phone? Stupid.
Well, if you're yeah, I guess they also can tell if you're not looking directly at it, or if your eyes are closed, it won't turn on.
That is so bizarre.
It's pretty crazy.
Very interesting. And that's only the X.
Only the
That's
X
not
has
the
the face ID stuff.
Okay.
So with that, you have
So
like
if you don't want to do a lot of changes, you don't want to deal with that, you can just buy the 8.
iPhone 8, yeah, and I think price point's gonna be a thing for a lot of people. The iPhone X starts at 1,000.
Wow.
Smackaroonies. And for like a lease plan, I was just checking for our carrier, and it was $50 a month for just the base model or the lower storage one for 64 gigs.
It's not that bad.
So it's not bad.
It would just be a lot of payments.
Yeah, a lot of payments, a lot of money. So that, I don't know. I wasn't too blown away. I'm excited because I've had this 6 for a while, so I was like, I probably will try to get the X and just see what all the hullabaloo is about.
Yeah.
But really, other than that, I don't think there's a big difference. The camera's nice. It has like 2 cameras on it. The back is glass now. So I think to enable the wireless charging, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
But, again, there's probably people screaming at me. There's some stuff you can do. Oh, yeah. So I'll talk about this in a second, but there's animojis. So you can animate an emoji now with your face and make it say stuff and do different, like, facial expressions.
Like the actual emojis that are already there, and you can make it.
Like the cat emoji, you can go like, and it'll make that exact face.
And you can make it talk.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That sounds really fun.
Oh, nice.
One thing I didn't like about the new messaging with I don't know what iOS we're on.
iOS 10. Yeah.
Like the like drawings you can do. I didn't really care for all that. That wasn't
Didn't use it.
That wasn't very.
Yeah. So
interesting to me.
iOS 11. There's some updates to Siri where you can do like translations now, which is really cool.
That's cool.
You can do iMessage Pay, so kind of taking out Venmo or Venmo altogether.
Really cool.
Control Center looks a little bit different. You can customize it now. Control Center is like when you swipe up from the bottom,
Yeah.
and it has like the
I know what Control Center is, Jake.
nature. And messaging has like some new cool things where you can like shrink the keyboard to one side if your like phone's too big, so you can just type on like the right side, and you can like I think this is only on iPad, but you can like instead of having to hit Shift and like pull up the other different like symbols you want to hit, you can just like swipe down on the key itself, and it'll pick the different symbol you want or something like that. So
Interesting.
all in all, it's cool. This is actually the Apple Watch Series 3 now has LTE capability. So if you want to go on a run without your phone, you can do it now, and you can still take calls and send texts.
That's cool.
Yeah. And this is, I think this is a precursor to where we might end up eventually. It's like, do you want to have a phone or do you want to have a watch that can do it all for you instead?
Phone.
Yeah. The phone has more capabilities.
And watches are so small.
Yeah,
Unless you can somehow fit a.
But if you're minimalist and you just don't want to deal with.
So is the phone LTE capable? Like, does that cost extra money with your carrier? Like, do you do it through your carrier?
Yeah. It would cost an extra plan, I'm sure, to have a separate app or Apple Watch. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. There's like a new Apple OS coming out or 4 or something like that, but no real big changes there either. So yeah, it was a pretty okay conference. I didn't watch all of it, so I am probably leaving some pretty cool stuff out. But those are the big takeaways that I saw.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to jump into our main topic of the show.
It's time to get scared.
Be right back.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. Ah!
And we're back. We are here to talk about probably the only scary movie that I've seen willingly in over a year. It's like October.
You willingly watched every scary movie you've ever watched. You can't be forced to watch anything.
Well, yeah, no, but like I'm saying, like usually I'm very like reluctant. This one I was like, okay, I'll go see this.
No. I had to.
I didn't want
convince
to
you.
see it, but I saw it and I was like, you know what? I will see this because I've heard multiple reports that it's good. Okay.
I had to text you like 1,000 times.
God, it sucked. Oh, it sucked. So yeah, we saw it
It didn't suck.
this past weekend, and it was actually very good. It was a very good movie.
Very good.
General thoughts. What did you like? What just open it up. What did you think about it? Oh, and I guess if you haven't watched it yet, this would be a time to probably
turn it off.
probably
Go
to,
watch
to
it.
bounce.
Or you can just listen if you don't like to watch things.
So, general thoughts, Josh. What'd you think?
I really, really enjoyed it. Not as scary as I thought it would be.
Yeah, wasn't as scary, but for me it was.
Unless you don't like clowns. Did have plenty of like jump scares, and it was creepy, but it was more like a very messed up, dark adventure kids movie. You know what I mean? Like rated R, obviously, but like it was like a rated R Goonies sort of. It reminded me of.
Yeah, I said yeah. I guess that's a better comparison because those are same time period. But I said it's like a really scary Stranger Things.
Yeah. Like very like fantasy adventure, sci-fi ish.
Yeah.
And I know the book is way more weird.
Gosh, yeah. I don't want to talk about it, but the book sounds real weird.
Like I wanted to read it before the movie, but I decided not to just because I didn't want any spoilers. Because I've only seen the original one once, a long time ago, and I don't remember hardly anything about it besides the sewer scene. So I just was like, I'm just going to go into this movie with a blank slate. Georgie.
So you that was one of my questions. You hadn't seen the original?
I have, but I don't really remember anything about it. So I was pretty young.
Yeah. So
what'd you think?
Same thing basically. Like I was very impressed. Movie was very good. There was actually just a good balance of everything. Like there was a lot of scary moments. There was a lot of like funny moments. There were some sweet moments here and there, sort of. And yeah, I mean, you know, this ultimately sets up for a pretty cool sequel. Or I don't know if this is like a 3-part series or like a 2-part series.
Should hopefully just a 2, I guess, because
this is
that's what it's like in the book. And
this is spoilers. This is when they're kids, and then later it's going to be when they're adults. You know, it's the whole story is that every 27 years it comes out and tries to feast on the people of Dairy Town or whatever.
But he likes the children the most.
Yeah, because they're the easiest to scare. So yeah, I mean, I think the movie was super well done. I think the acting was good across the board. It was cool seeing the same, you know, the reason I thought it was more Stranger Things was because, what's his name from Stranger Things is in it, the main leader of the group.
Some Wolfhard. What's his name?
Jake?
No, that's your name.
I know, but I could have sworn it was something like that. It's a very basic name. Doesn't matter. Regardless, you know, Pennywise the clown, very, very scary. I think Skarsgård, what's his first name? Tom Skarsgård or something like that. He did a very good job playing him. And I saw him interview with, I think maybe it was Jimmy Fallon or something like that. But he actually, I mean, he does look a little spooky in real life too. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But man, I remember like Matt the entire time. Like anytime something scary would happen, like when he came out of the screen they were watching, the projector.
Back when he was big.
The projector. That was scary as crap.
I didn't think that was scary at all. I thought it was really silly.
It's a good jump scare.
Yeah. That one kind of made me laugh.
But
he was so big.
He was like, but Matt had his sweater sitting on his chest the whole time, and then like he would pull it up to his face, and then as soon as the jump scare would happen, he would like yell into his sweater. It was like, and so that in turn made my experience way more scary. And then
I really wish I sat in between you guys for that.
I'm glad you guys set it up that way because I think you put the 3 people that hate scary movies the most like right next to each other. So Joseph was next to me too.
Yeah.
And Joe the entire time was doing this, like holding his beard. And anytime something scary would happen, he would just like. And what I would do, which didn't make any sense either, is like I would try to cover like my face, but also still like be able to see everything that's happening. But for some reason, it made me feel better. All in all, very scary. And I had nightmares for a couple days. Actually, just really that one night. But it was very terrible. I came home, everyone was asleep. I had to turn all the lights off in the house.
Yeah.
I had to turn the lights off in the garage, and it was very scary. So, if you haven't, I don't know. How would you, on a scariness scale, how would you rate this?
I don't know. I mean, I especially won't get scared in a theater full of people.
It was fun. It was fun
because there were people who actually left.
Oh yeah,
which was funny, kind of annoying too. But
yeah, there were people there.
Like people were literally leaving the theater like halfway through.
I am done.
But it really wasn't that bad. I mean, the clown itself is creepy, and how it works is he will target each child's specific fear. So one child had a fear of a painting, and one child had a fear of a
painting of a leper.
Of a leper because he was a hypochondriac.
His parents burning alive.
Yeah.
A couple other things.
So they were like, it wasn't just the clown scaring you. It was just like different
things.
Yeah, different things like popping out of
things.
Nowhere, which I didn't know would happen. So
yeah, that's what confuses me too. If like it is able to be like omnipresent, how are they able to even catch him?
I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm just like, I don't understand. Like maybe he's only mobile if like there's fear. Like
that's
if,
what I
if
was
the
thinking.
kid's afraid, he can show up.
Yeah.
That could probably what it is actually.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is the CGI in this was not great.
Yeah, the painting lady looked really weird. The leper looked better.
And even when he would like open his teeth up to try and bite people,
see, that's what I was worried about. So in the first scene when he bites Georgie, that was rough.
Yeah, bit his freaking arm off.
I was like, oh my goodness.
I watched the original.
Wait, what happened?
I watched the original scene.
I can't remember.
Same concept. The boat falls in there, and it talks to him for a while and tells him, blah, blah, blah. And then he reaches in, and all you see is the clown like grab his hand, Pennywise grab his hand, and then like he goes, opens his mouth up. But that's all you see. So you just assume that he got eaten or something like that.
In the book, he supposedly rips his arm off and then leaves him to die. In the book, it's not like we got to figure out what happened to Georgie.
Where's Georgie at? Yeah.
It's more like we need to figure out what did this to Georgie and get revenge.
Because Georgie was still alive, right? Was he alive in the books?
the neighbor lady in the movie
saw it.
In the book, she finds his body. He leaves his body outside of the sewer and he just dies.
He dies out there.
He bleeds to death.
Oh gosh.
So that's pretty much what happens.
Still interesting, but yeah, that scene, Georgie got his arm ripped off / bit off. That was crazy, and then dragged into the sewer.
He's such a little kid, and he's so cute. And you're like immediately like, I love this kid. He's so great. He's so sweet. Him and his brother are so sweet.
Yeah, they had like the little stutter.
And then he dies, and you're like, well.
But that scene where he bit
rough.
into his arm, like
that scene,
super cheesy.
I was like
super
that looks
fake.
super dumb.
I was like,
all his teeth.
Yeah, it would have been better just to use like an animatronic there or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
what was that?
Spencer Bradshaw commented. I don't know if they could hear that on the podcast or not, but I'm gonna just tune that just in case. Let's see what Spencer wants to talk about. But yeah, if you had to, who would you recommend this to? Like if
Everybody.
So you would recommend this to everyone that's able to go see it? Oh my gosh! Hopefully that's not coming in because that's super loud.
I can't imagine if it's probably just coming in our headphones.
Yeah.
What is he saying?
Let's see what Spencer's saying. Probably talking about Polo still. Bum, 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 bum. It, but could go for a It only podcast.
I mean, if you like scary movies, go see it. If you like good movies, go see it. If you like adventure movies, go see it because it's very like. It's like the kids have to band together and they go through all their issues and their stuff together and then they separate and come back together.
Yeah.
And it was just parts of it were really feel good, as screwed up as it was and as dark as it could get.
Oh gosh.
Like the girl and her dad.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
That was hard to watch.
I was like, I don't like watching this.
Yeah. And then
but in the end, they all stick together,
and they all just take a weird blood oath.
Yeah,
and you made this funny comment. I was like, that's so I thought that was so weird that they all cut their hands on bottles and held hands, but then someone else was like, really, that's like the weirdest thing that they experienced. That's the weirdest thing that they did this entire movie. Like they like literally saw all this crazy stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like as much as I hate scary movies, I will tell anybody that's kind of thinking about seeing it to go check it out because it is really cool.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you've already seen this, I mean, you know, if you have a friend that's wavering like this, just go ahead and say like, hey, yeah, it's worth checking out. Like if you don't like scary movies, I still think it's worth checking out. Just go with friends because it's a lot more. I think scary movies, if you hate them, like you have to at least watch them with friends because I will absolutely not subject myself to anything this scary if I'm by myself.
Probably the last really good scary movie I've seen is that was like 4 years ago. I don't want to say that. That I can remember is The Conjuring, like that a recent scary movie.
Conjuring and The Witch was okay.
No,
it wasn't that scary. It was just like unsettling. It was like
that movie was just weird,
creepy.
But I mean, it's really good. I would definitely go see it. There are some very interesting things they left out though.
Like what?
So when they
I don't want to talk about that one. That's gross.
The spoilers. We'll talk about it anyway.
Ugh.
The spoilers is a spoiler is they defeat it at least temporarily, but they defeat him in his lair, which is located in the sewers, and they leave the sewers. In the books, apparently they can't find their way out of the sewers.
Oh.
There's one girl in the group.
Well, we don't know if... Oh, yeah, they found their way out. Yeah, at the very end.
They found their way out, yeah. But in the books, they can't find their way out.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, this is just a Wikipedia summary, so probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there's one girl in the group and 6 guys.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, she has sex with all 6 of the guys.
It's just a weird...
On Wikipedia, it says to bring unity back to the group. And then they escape the sewers.
That's one you gotta look at Stephen King and be like...
Apparently, I was reading on Reddit.
Hopefully this happens like later as they're all like older at least, where it's not as creepy.
I don't think it does.
Oh gosh, it's just weird. That's just weird.
I think it's the kid part, but
it's just weird.
I was reading about that on Reddit, and someone was like, he has a lot of weird sex scenes that just kind of happen randomly throughout his books. Stephen
King.
Yeah. So, I guess if you write hundreds of books, you're gonna have some weird stuff.
Weird things. I saw a trailer for one of his more recent movies coming out pretty soon, and it looks just as weird. I don't want to talk about it because it's just disturbing, but same concept, kind of just like spooky and very sexual. So,
my favorite. So yeah, go see the movie. It's Halloween coming up in the next like month and a half. Get a scary game. Play Resident Evil 7. Play Outlast 2.
Do not do that.
We're gonna be playing Outlast 2 this October, and we cannot wait.
I will do one round of it, and I will leave the room.
Perfect.
Say nope, we're not playing this anymore.
It is the most stressful. I only played the demo of it, but it was the most stressful game. Like 10 minutes of my life.
Nightmares. Not doing that one either.
And then go to a haunted house.
I'll do that. I like haunted houses. I don't mind jump scares. I just don't like real oh god, I don't like real images. I don't like real like the way that movies can convey stuff now is just pretty unbelievable. You go to like a haunted corn maze or Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern, you're like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, everyone here is dressed up in costumes, so I kind of
that's basically what a haunted house is like. This is kind of fun.
This is fun, but it's something fun to do in October. So yeah, if I had to score this movie, being that I hate scary movies, I'd still give this an 85. 85.
As far as horror movies, I'd probably give it like a 70. But as a movie in general,
yeah, it's a better movie than was a horror movie.
Probably about the same, 85, 90, that range.
There were some problems. But I will say this has been the most successful horror movie to date. I forget what the box office record was.
It was like 51 million that opening night.
Yeah, which is pretty insane. So congrats on that too. That's really cool. And all the people that were on this, that's awesome. But yeah, that is our brief synopsis of it. So go see it. Well, so unfortunately, that is the end of our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, BitCast is a weekly podcast that covers most things video games and pop culture. Joshua, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome.
If you can't tell if you're listening to this, we're
friends.
Awkwardly,
we're really
holding each other's shoulders.
We're friends.
Remember to follow BitBloggist on Twitter or Instagram, or check out bitbloggist.com, and you can subscribe to our email list where you'll get a weekly synopsis of everything that we've posted or put up over the week. Send any topic ideas to BitCast at bitbloggist.com to be a part of the show. And remember, the podcast is on Google Play, Stitcher, and iTunes. So if you're listening to this on the web browser or whatever, those are much easier and more accessible ways to listen to this podcast. Also, we're on YouTube if you like video content. But until next time, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in to talk about some stuff.